Hey everyone, James Azar here with CyberHub Engage. We are live on LinkedIn Live, finally bringing you the content that we've been putting on YouTube and Twitter directly to your most favorite feed. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing my Green Masters shirt. I know we're in the middle of a pandemic and everyone is so negative poo-poo. I am going to try to make life a little bit happier for you today. We are all getting through this together. We're all working remotely. We're all trying to make the best of this situation that we are in. And it is St. Patrick's Day, a day where we would be drinking green beer, enjoying green eggs and ham, and just overall celebrating. So join me in celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Today is Tuesday, March 17th, 2020. And here are our headlines for your daily cyber briefing on CyberHub Engage. So financial companies leak 425 gigabytes in company client data through open databases. Over a quarter of security alerts are false positives. Agents arrest 24 people on a $30 million money laundering charges, including business email compromise, and numerous arrests made in a 2 SIM swapping schemes. We are going to celebrate law enforcement today and the work they do to bring those cyber criminals to justice. And now for your daily cyber briefing, brought to you by our friends over at cyberhubusa.co. Go to cyberhubusa.co for your cyber awareness training at a time now more than ever where you need that, and virtual CISO services. Again, cyberhubusa.co for more information. And now into our first story, where an open database is the source of a data leak leading to the exposure of 425 gigabytes in sensitive documents belonging to financial companies. On Tuesday, VPN Mentor researchers led by Noam Rotem said the database appears to be connected to MCA Wizard, a now defunct app that appears to have been developed by Advantage Capital Funding and Argus Capital Funding. The iOS Android application was developed as a merchant cash advance instrument used to provide businesses with short-term loans based on their future credit card-based sales. The app is no longer available on any official app store. In a report shared exclusively, the team said that the database was discovered through VPN Mentor's web mapping project. First uncovered in December of 2019, the AWS S3 bucket was not using any form of encryption, authentication, or access credentials, a situation which has become increasingly common as many companies move to cloud services. Due to a failure to implement basic security protocols, the database permitted unfettered access to anyone with an internet connection and an S3 bucket's address. The researchers say the database contained references to an MCA wizard, and many of the files did not appear to have any true connection to the mobile application. Instead, VPN Mentor found over 500,000 highly sensitive documents, including private legal and financial files, that originated from Advantage and Argus. In total, 425 gigabytes was contained in the database at the time of discovery, and files were still actively being uploaded to the bucket as the team conducted their investigation. Entries related to the company's businesses, including credit reports, bank statements, contracts, legal documents, driver license copies, POs and receipts, tax returns, social security information, and transaction reports. The records did not just relate to Advantage and Argus. Instead, they also affected customers, client, contractors, employees, and partners, according to the researchers. VPN Mentor said that the financial and legal consequences of such crimes could destroy not just a just person's businesses, but their entire life. VPN Mentor did reach out to Advantage and Argus to inform them of the leak, but emails sent to both entities were bounced back. Attempts to contact the vendors were made on the 30th of December, but after the messages failed to deliver, the researchers eventually contacted AWS directly, and the database was closed on January 9th. VPN Mentor's mapping project has revealed a variety of other data breaches in the past, predominantly cloud not being secured properly, and the need for us to really kind of tighten our grip on all these different databases that are out there. Once you build something, you got to take it down. You can't just ignore it and move on to the next thing. That's really important. And now to our next story, where more than a quarter of security alerts fielded within organizations are false positives, according to a new research from the New Star International Security Council. The NICS surveyed senior security professionals across 5 European markets and the US, highlighting the risks of alert fatigue currently being faced by businesses around the world. As detailed in the research, more than 43% of organizations experience false positive alerts in more than 20% of cases, while 15% reported more than half of their security alerts are false positives. The survey also revealed that enterprises, in response to a growing cybersecurity threats, are investing more resources in network monitoring and threat intelligence technologies that create more alerts and thus more false positives for security teams. Security tools that simply produce large quantities of data to be analyzed without contextualizing potential threats are contributing to data overload, alert fatigue, and burnout, according to Rodney Joff, chairman of the NICSC and SVP and fellow at Newstar. Cybersecurity teams are increasingly drowning in data and are overwhelmed by the massive volumes of alerts. Many of the false positives are made to ensure that these high-value employees in mission-critical roles are well-equipped to separate the signal from the noise. Enterprises need to create a curated approach to security data that provides timely, actionable insights that are hyper-relevant to their own organization and industry. Curated threat data helps enterprise counter real threats and more effectively and spend less time chasing false positives, the report concluded. And now we're going to transition to a cheering moment with our two next stories highlighting the work that law enforcement does to catch cyber criminals. And so this one is very local for us here. CyberHub Engage is based out of Georgia. As you guys know, we love Georgia. It is our home. We're always quick to call it the cyber capital, and apparently the cyber criminals do hang out here as well. Federal agents have arrested 24 individuals on suspicion of acting as money launderers for an online fraud operation that is said to have made over $30 million. Businesses and individuals are said to have lost the funds through various business email compromise, romance fraud, and retirement account scams, among many others. The 24 defendants are accused of laundering funds from the schemes through bank accounts in the U.S. and across the globe. They're alleged to have created fake companies and used fake and victim identities to open bank accounts before transferring funds quickly, withdrawing them, and then circulating the money among other defendants. Of the 24 arrested, Darius Suwa Okang, 29, of Stone Mountain, Georgia, is also charged with 1 count of bank fraud and 1 count of aggravated identity theft after creating a bank account in a retirement account scam's victim's name and depositing $288,000 of their money in it. Afiz Olaid Adeniran, 31, of Atlanta, Georgia, and Blessing Oju, 34, of Nigeria, are also charged with 1 count of fire fraud. Adeniran is accused of defrauding a home buyer of $40,000 intended for a real estate transaction, while Oju is said to have masterminded a false invoicing scam that duped a California media company into wiring $646,840 to a bank account controlled by one of the defendants. A further 17 individuals are awaiting charges of bank fraud, aggravated identity theft, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit these offenses from a federal court in Atlanta. The charges highlight how rampant online fraud is today. BEC scammers made almost $1.8 billion in 2019, over half of the $3.5 billion total cybercrime losses reported to the FBI, according to a recent IC3.gov report. Confidence and romance scams were in second place, netting scammers nearly $475 million. Folks, in this time where more and more people are home alone, are now isolated even more than before, expect these crimes to go up. Educate those around you, your neighbors, your friends, your family. One thing that I've made a commitment to myself to do at the advice of Ben Shapiro was to call 5 people every single day. Since I'm not interacting with people and I am home in quarantine, simply because I've also come from overseas on Saturday, I am calling people every single day. I'm calling 5 different people every single day, communicating with 5 different people every single day, letting them know that they are not alone. Our most vulnerable people are the people who are in your office that may not have anyone but work. And those people are most likely to fall for romance scams and confidence scams. So make sure you talk to them. Make sure you inform them. Ask them these questions. It is on us as cybersecurity professionals to educate those around us the most and ensure that they get that they're well informed so that they don't lose their hard-earned money to scammers as well. And this, a big shout out to the FBI and the Department of Justice for the work doing catching these 24 scammers, especially with the fact of catching them here in Georgia. I know that the FBI and GBI here do an amazing job. And now to our final story. And again, congratulations to Europol, because along with local police in Spain, Romania, and Austria, they've arrested about 24 alleged members of 2 criminal gangs that are accused of stealing millions in euros from bank accounts in several countries by using SIM swapping techniques to steal credentials and passwords. In the first case, Europol investigators and Spanish police arrested a dozen individuals who allegedly used various SIM swapping techniques as well as banking Trojans to steal about 3 million euros, around $3.4 million, from victims' bank accounts. In addition, police in Austria and Romania, along with Europol, arrested another 14 people and shut down another alleged SIM swapping operation that had stolen more than 500,000 euros, around $560,000, since the spring of 2019. According to an announcement on Friday, the 2 cases were overseen by Europol's European Cybercrime Center in The Hague. In both cases, Europol investigators believe that the two gangs used SIM swapping techniques to steal passwords and other credentials that would give them access to bank accounts and other personal data. These attacks typically start by persuading a mobile operator's customer service employee to move a cell phone number to a different SIM card or swap or port it out to another carrier. Once attackers have control of the victim's smartphone or mobile device, they can then intercept one-time passwords or PIN resets that are used as part of a multi-factor authentication process, which then allows them to reset passwords and gain access to accounts. That's why I've been transitioning as a CISO. That's why I've been transitioning most of our organization into an authenticator app rather than an MFA on your phone, simply because these SIM swapping techniques are really increasing. In fact, a recent report that we reported on here on CyberHub Engage recently said that the Chinese have mastered a SIM swapping technique that doesn't involve porting out your number, simply intercepting two-factor and MFA authenticating messages that go into your device via SMS. So using an authenticator app like the Google Authenticator or the many other that exist on the app stores might be the best way to ensure that you protect your organization and your private life from these scams. In October of 2019, the FBI also issued an alert noting that cyber criminals have started bypassing security measures like MFA through SIM swapping techniques. In the first recent investigation called Operation Quintantes Dusum, Europol investigators along with Spanish police began an investigation in January that eventually involved 12 people operating an alleged SIM swapping operation in Spain across 3 different regions. What we're starting to notice with these, by the way, is they're local, meaning these guys that are doing this are predominantly local. They are in the jurisdiction where they are doing these. So in Spain, the perpetrators were in Spain. They were residents of Italy, Romania, Colombia, and Spain, meaning the gang was diverse. It wasn't just one specific gang, but it involved numerous nationalities from all kinds of places. They were doing these in techniques between stealing up from as little as 6,000 euros to 137,000 euros. So again, they're going for big amounts, but they're going for big chunks simultaneously. In addition to SIM swapping, the gang also planned malware such as banking Trojans on devices in order to further get advantage of those devices. Once the transfers have been made to bank accounts, the gang would use money mules to collect the funds, and then all these transfers happen within 1 to 2 hours or before the victims knew that their accounts were changed. So you got to act quick. In the US, if you're a victim of this, call the Secret Service immediately. I've seen it firsthand of working with the Secret Service that they are quick to freeze the money, freeze those bank accounts, and try to retrieve your stolen funds. So the Secret Service are great partners. They're not a regulator. They're really not going to expose you. So you can also contact them. Europol has also indicated the same thing. They're more than willing to help. Once they gain access over a victim's phone number, Europol says this particular gang would then use stolen banking credentials to log onto a mobile banking application and generate a withdrawal transaction, which they then validated with a one-time password set by the bank via SMS, allowing them to withdraw the money at a cardless ATM. We've seen these attacks before, folks. This stuff is real and can happen. So just make sure you use an authentication app in these SIM swapping cases. But good job to law enforcement. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I know you're all alone. We're going to be bringing you a lot of content through our virtual summits are Cyber and Life segments here on LinkedIn Live. So you can tune in, subscribe, share this video with your friends. You can also catch us on your favorite podcast listening platform by subscribing there to the CyberHub Engage podcast. Until tomorrow, folks, stay cyber safe, stay healthy, and we'll be back with more later. Until next time.